and welcome back to Manav Sports Talk. So, the divisional round was amazing. It was one of the best rounds I've ever been able to watch, including one of the biggest upsets I've ever seen, which was by far ridiculous, and then one of the most roller coaster games I've ever been on. It was so crazy, going up and down until there were blowouts back and forth, and then just overall a really great weekend to watch. If you missed out, well, I'm going to be breaking it down for you, so please continue to watch. So let's get started with my power rankings for the championship round. Start the countdown. Please go down in the description and smash that like button. I'd really appreciate it and would like that support. Also, be sure to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and that would definitely support me in bringing more videos out. Thanks.
Number one team in the NFL this week is the San Francisco 49ers.
So the Niners, they kind of dominated against the Vikings. It was almost exactly to my prediction. So I predicted 27-17. It came 27-10. So I was so close to getting my prediction correct. But anyway, so San Francisco, they had a great game. Pretty much dominated everywhere. I described the return of D Ford in the previous video. He made a huge impact, able to sack Kirk Cousins plenty of times, and they shut down Dalvin Cook as I predicted. As that drives the Minnesota Vikings offense, the Minnesota Vikings offense only generated 10 points. So Dalvin Cook is the key, and they shut him down completely. Besides that one touchdown to Stephon Diggs, where that they eventually switched out that corner to, I think it was Mosley now. So then Diggs didn't have that big play. They only had one big play. That was their only touchdown. So yeah. Offensively, it was a really fast start. The 49ers drove right down the field on opening drive and scored a touchdown. Jimmy Garoppolo, he played pretty good. He did have one interception, but overall I think it was a very solid performance for his first postseason game. And then they were able to run the ball in the second half with Tevin Coleman and Raheem Mostert. Yeah, it was pretty well done in the running game. There were two big plays. First one is the interception to Richard Sherman, so let's see that.
So it's 3rd and 9 for Minnesota. Cousins looks and throws straight in the hands of Sherman, intercepted, and down to the 28-yard line of Minnesota. Big play by Richard Sherman.
Then it was the muff punt recovery by Raheem Mostert, where Marcus Sherrills fumbled it, and that basically salted the game away for Minnesota. So let's take a look at those pressures I was talking about, and then they were able to pound the rock really well with Tevin Coleman, and that's how the 49ers won. Let's move on to the next game once I show you what actually happened.
This was just another example of how the 49ers pass rush kept coming at Kirk Cousins and sacking him over and over. Let's take a look at one of the first instances. So it's a play action to Cook, and then Armstead just comes in and wraps up Cousins. The 49ers were able to pound the rock quite well against the Minnesota Vikings, including a couple of rushing touchdowns by Tevin Coleman, like this one. And Coleman with the inside zone carry just flies into the end zone. Touchdown, San Francisco. They take the lead. Number 2 team this week in the NFL is the Kansas City Chiefs.
AC is number 2. Did you see the game? If you saw the game, they absolutely just that was the weirdest game I've ever seen and the strangest game I've ever seen. I don't know what happened in that game. First, it looked like a blowout. Then it was a good game. And then it was a blowout to the Kansas City Chiefs. Wow, amazing. The Chiefs offense, probably one of the best offenses I've ever seen. Very explosive. And they showed us in the game. They were down 24-0 to Houston. And then what happened? They took the lead right before halftime, scoring 28 points in the second quarter. They overcame that deficit in one quarter. That has never happened before in the history of the NFL. Also, what's never happened is that a team down by 20 or more won by 20 or more at the end. Another great achievement for this Chiefs offense. It all started with a flurry of plays by the Houston Texans. So let's take a look at those plays.
Texans started blazing fast against the Chiefs, and this was their first touchdown. This where he throws deep and Kenny Stills is just butt naked, wide open, and just walks in for the touchdown. So this block punt by the Texans, Jacob Martin comes in, and then Lonnie Johnson just returns it back the other way for 6. It's 14-0 Houston. Additionally, Tyreek Hill muffed the punt, resulting in another touchdown for Houston. Like this, a great punt by Anger, and Tyreek Hill just muffs it, and then it's recorded by Houston.
Wow, what a start that was by Houston. They took a 24-0 lead just like that. I mean, like this almost. It was crazy. But then what happened? Kansas City just turned on. They were a bit, I think, they weren't fully ready. They were a bit rusty coming out. They did have a 2-week break, so the receivers were dropping passes. I bet if the receivers didn't drop the passes, it would have never been 24-0. It would have been a close game all throughout. And most surprising is that the Texans jumped to such a quick start, which they never did in the whole entire season. But in this game, they did it so quickly and then ended up losing by so much. So that was really weird. Anyway, Kansas City started rolling in the second quarter with one touchdown after the other. And let's take a look at how it started. It pretty much started after the Texans decided to kick the field goal instead of going for it on 4th and 1, which I would have wanted them to go for it. If you make it 28-0, I mean, I don't think the Chiefs really believe at that point. Anyway, let's take a look at these touchdowns that Kansas City kept doing over and over and over. So after that 4th and 1, they get the field goal, it's 24-0, and then they score a touchdown. Then there's another touchdown, and another touchdown, and another touchdown.
Chiefs just went on a scoring rampage after the first quarter, and this is the first one to Damian Williams.
One of the silliest things that Bill O'Brien, the Houston Texans head coach, did in this game was do the fake punt. So he wasn't willing to go for it on 4th and 1 in the KC territory, deep in KC territory. But now he's willing to do a fake punt way inside your territory and giving it back to that powerful Chiefs offense made no sense. And then he didn't get the fake punt. And then at that point, all the momentum started swinging. And then this is the second touchdown.
Then the second one with Mahomes being Mahomes again, a little sidearm to Kelsey.
Then the third touchdown for Kansas City after Houston just goes crazy. And then they fumble on the kick return, which at that point Kansas City just took over.
Then after the Texans muff the kickoff, here comes Mahomes again to Kelsey again for another touchdown.
24-21, the Chiefs finally take the lead after the Texans punt again. And then that allows Kansas City to never give up their lead again in the whole game. Let's take a look at the final touchdowns of the game.
And another one to Blake Bell. No, that's Travis Kelsey. Then another touchdown to Damian Williams. And then finally the last touchdown. Not the last touchdown, but this was a nail in the coffin for Kansas City. That basically just won them the game.
So besides this ridiculous, powerfully offense of Kansas City, where Kelsey's just unguardable, and then the offensive line is so good, and then Mahomes is going freaking beast mode, the defense played so good. They only got 7 points in the second half. It's all because of their scheme. They send tons of blitzes, and Deshaun Watson tends to hold the ball, so he takes sacks, and then they're just not able to do anything. The running game, a very important thing was shutting down Carlos Hyde in the running game, which they did extremely well. This is the most balanced Kansas City has been in a very long time. So, they just might win the Super Bowl because of how balanced they are. So let's move on to the next team.
The third team in my power rankings is the Tennessee Titans.
I mean, who would have thought the Tennessee Titans would have made it to the AFC Championship? Who would have? When they were 2-4 and then giving it to Ryan Tannehill to lead the team, no one thought this. Now here they are in the AFC Championship game. After one of the biggest upsets I've ever seen in the playoffs. Absolutely blowing out the #1 seeded Baltimore Ravens, who are 14-2 coming in. I mean, they just dominated from the get-go. What a play. What plays they ran. I mean, what a team this Tennessee Titans are going to be. I mean, their defense played so amazing, including these great 4th-and-inches stops. Let's see them.
One of the biggest stops that Tennessee had in the game was right here, 4th and inches. So it's just a QB sneak. Lamar going backwards, and he didn't get there. I don't think he got there. He didn't get there, and they're short again.
What a great game plan by the defensive coordinator, Dean Pease, of the Tennessee Titans. He shut down Lamar Jackson. Obviously, the stats might not say that, but that's all garbage time stats. They were able to get 3 turnovers, 2 interceptions, and 1 fumble. Those are all huge. I mean, give it up for their coaching staff. They came up with a great game plan. So, their secondary, they were much better than I thought they would be. Obviously, the Baltimore Ravens wide receivers, they aren't the best. To be honest, they aren't the best. And they were able to shut them down. Most importantly were the defensive line and linebackers were shutting down Lamar Jackson. So, on the other side offensively, just go with King Henry, Derrick Henry. Just keep running the ball with him. He just keeps running over people like a freight train. And surprisingly, he had 1 touchdown pass. Let's see that.
Such a creative call by Tennessee in one of the biggest moments. I absolutely love this. So Mariota is just going to go down. Derrick Henry looks like he's going to run. Pops up a jump pass. Corey Davis makes the catch. Derrick Henry with a touchdown pass. Amazing job, Tennessee. What a play call.
So it was another 200-yard day for Derrick Henry, who keeps running through the whole entire defense every week. I mean, who needs Ryan Tannehill to throw for over 100 yards? He can just keep not throwing for 100 yards and they'll keep winning. All Ryan Tannehill has to do is just make big throws like he did in this game over and over. And starting it off, he threw some big ones. Most notably, there are only 2. So one big strike to Khalif Raymond, and then the other one to Jonnu Smith, who made one of the most amazing catches I've ever seen.
Didn't go for the Titans, and Tannehill is dropping back. The blitz is coming. He fires on the left sideline, and did Jonnu do this? Yes, he did. Jonnu Smith. Touchdown Titans. So the second touchdown that Tennessee had that pretty much stunned the crowd of Baltimore. Let's take a look. So, are they going to run it with Derrick Henry? We'll see. Well, it's another well-timed play action. Tannehill steps up, fires away. He's got Khalif Raymond, and Khalif Raymond, diving catch. Touchdown Tennessee. What a play. Ryan Tannehill.
And this was just an amazing win. Really amazing. I mean, their road to the playoffs was one of the toughest. Road to the Super Bowl is one of the toughest. First, they had to go through New England, which they did that quite easily. And then they had to go through Baltimore, which they did even easier. And now they're going to go to Kansas City. So this is a really dark horse candidate for the Super Bowl, and who knows, they just might win it.
The final and 4th spot on the power rankings is the Green Bay Packers.
This time, Green Bay was able to hold on against Seattle. They weren't going to give up their lead this time. Remember last time, 2014 NFC Championship game, where Green Bay blew a 16-0 lead? They didn't do it this time, all thanks to the clutch genes of Aaron Rodgers and the ice in his veins. Aaron Rodgers delivered 2 big-time throws to Davante Adams and Jimmy Graham to ice the game after a late comeback from Danger Russell Wilson. Overall, Green Bay played really well on offense, much better than I thought they could, and they showed up big time in the playoffs. Aaron Jones didn't have the best game, but he was able to punch it in 2 times. Davante Adams, he's probably the player of the game. He had 160 yards receiving and 2 touchdowns. They just couldn't stop Davante Adams like this first touchdown of the game.
This was the first touchdown for the Green Bay Packers and was to the one and only Davante Adams, who had one of the greatest games in the playoffs. So let's take a look at this one. They're just going... Well, now they flip, and then Davante Adams just beat both of those corners. He's a mismatch for everyone. He had a hell of a game. Unstoppable.
And Rodgers, again, he played so good. He had some beautiful throws. Obviously, the ones to Davante Adams, and then the biggest one to Jimmy Graham, which I'm about to show you after I finish talking about the Packers. Defensively, they kept getting pressure on Russell Wilson. Kenny Clark and Zadarius Smith kept sacking Wilson over and over. And then they're able to be pretty good in the secondary until Wilson started carving them up in the second half. They'll need to do a better job of that. But overall, a strong performance from the defense. And let's take a look at that game winner from Aaron Rodgers to Jimmy Graham.
After Seattle had made a late comeback, Green Bay could win on this third down conversion if they pick it up. And looks like Seattle is sending the blitz. A running back picks up. Aaron Rodgers throws a beautiful pass. And looks like Jimmy Graham has a first down. And he does. Packers win it all. And Jimmy Graham does the peace sign to his former team.
So that wraps up my power rankings for the championship week. Hope you enjoyed. It was only 4 teams because there are only teams left in the tournament. I showed you plays about them. Hope you enjoyed that as well. Obviously, if you didn't do it earlier in the video, please go down and like and subscribe. Also, be sure to subscribe to my sports blog where I write more in detail about these things that I do on my videos. And I guess that's it. Once again, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed.